One question that is, I guess, probably been eluding some fans. Well, not eluding, but fans have been wondering about is what exactly is going on lately since about season 5? Let me explain. It's not mostly just season 5, but more along season 5, mostly throughout season 6, and now season 7. But it seems to focus a lot in these past two seasons, going on 2.5 now. Is the Cutie Map itself? It's like basically the focus has been on the Cutie Map. It's a I don't know how to explain this, but it's almost like the Cutie Map. It's almost like, I guess you could say what's going on is they follow there is a pattern that's been followed by the writers in a sense. Some of the most popular, beloved writers, and some somewhat new and not so beloved and whatever. That now the Cutie Map calls out to whatever members of the main 6, or even whatever friends of the main 6 or main 7, whatever you want to call it, to go solve a friendship problem. I'll give you an example. It did start somewhat in season 5. There is no doubt about it, but it was more so pushed upon in season 6. And then, of course, here in season 7, we see that it goes beyond just now the main 6. It can actually incorporate other characters. Or the main 7, well, the main 6, that it can go on and incorporate other characters. The point being, has the Cutie Map become the solution of trying to really emphasize what MLP FIM is supposed to be about? I mean, we've seen this in shows to where there's certain similarities in other shows where a computer or some kind of computer or device will call upon certain members of a team to go solve something because they're the only ones that can go to that area, or they probably know that area better than anyone else. It kind of confuses, I think, a lot of fans, because it's like, now you're basically isolating someone like Twilight, unless she gets called upon herself, to basically being like the Charles Xavier, the Jean Grey of the team. The person that stays behind while those selected go and take care of business. And a lot of fans have voiced their opinions about this. They feel that the Cutie Map has really... Well, some of them are mixed about it. I mean, they like the fact that the Cutie Map, they like the idea that the Cutie Map itself can pair up certain members of the main 6 that you normally wouldn't see pair up that much. Sometimes they'll pair up Pinkie Pie and Rarity. Sometimes they'll do Applejack and Rarity. Sometimes they'll do Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. Sometimes they'll do Rainbow Dash and Rarity. Or sometimes they'll do Rainbow Dash and Applejack. Or Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy. Or Rainbow Dash and Pinkie. You get the idea. So it's always unique. So I guess it's a unique concept for the Cutie Map to be focused upon like this. But is it taken away from what made the show what it is? A lot of fans have said that the show was good when it focused on the main 6 as a group at times, where you had them dealing with certain situations, certain friendship problems, or certain friendship problems, or certain disasters or whatever, or threats that they had to protect Equestria or Canterlot or Ponyville from. A lot of fans felt that the series was much better when it focused upon them as a whole. And that on occasions it was okay if you split them up, because sometimes maybe the episode called for that to happen. But now it seems the show has differentiated from that perspective and has differentiated has detoured or deterred from that direction into another direction to where now it's whoever the Cutie Map calls upon to go solve the friendship problem. And again, even though this is an intriguing concept in the eyes of a lot of fans, in the eyes of a lot of fans, like I said, it's an intriguing concept. It's also one that's met with a lot of mixed reactions. It's like, what are you trying to do here? What is the true purpose of this Cutie Map selecting certain members of the main six? Or as we've seen recently, sometimes newer members of the group, like let's say Starlight in A Royal Problem, to go solve certain friendship problems. And now, what's even funny about that is it's not just selecting two members of the main six, or two characters in general. When A Royal Problem came around, it basically stated that now all it takes is one character, one pony, one member of the main six to solve the problem. So, I guess, so basically I think what fans look at with this whole Cutie Map idea is, what's the end game for it? What is the true end game? What's the true purpose? Are you trying to, in the eyes of several fans, if not many fans, are you trying to slowly phase Twilight out into the role that Celestia, Luna, and Cadence have? Like, she'll only be there when the story needs her to be there. Or are you putting her, like I said earlier, in a position to where she'll be looked at as the Jean Grey, Charles Xavier, the moderator, if you will, for the group? And, and again, that's a good question of what's the end game to this. I mean, a lot of fans are hoping, let's be honest, they are hoping for one episode where the Cutie Map selects all seven characters, or six, or basically all seven, or all six members of the main six, or as some people put it, the main seven, to go solve the problem. They're hoping for that because that's what fans are used to. Fans want to see that happen again. But yet, it seems in the past 2.5 seasons that the Cutie Map has been more along the lines of, I guess it's been more along the lines of that, how do I put this? Has been used to be more along the lines of that foundation, that anchor that holds down the fort and only allows who they feel is needed to go solve a problem. Some good examples over the past 2.5 seasons have a good, and some would say there are good examples to this. Sometimes when two characters are selected, sometimes one of the characters could be out of their environment when they go to the location that they got to go to. A good example of this would be Applejack in Made in Manhattan. Manhattan. She was, even though she had been there before with her friends, on her own, even though she had been there before as a filly, and even though she's been there before with her friends, it's still a big change. It's still a big difference for her. Still a big change in atmosphere because she's more of a country pony. She's more used to the down-to-earth southern style of life. Southern style of farm life, or basically farm life that she was raised on. So it's still a big change for her. It's still kind of nerve-wracking. And for someone like her to go there with someone like Rarity, in the episode, she's wondering why I'm here. What's my purpose? And we find out through Rarity what her purpose is. So maybe the idea of the Cutie Map being that anchor, that foundation to select certain ponies to go solve a friendship problem is not because you're selecting certain ponies because A, one of them may know the area and may be more accustomed to the area than the other, and B, maybe the other is being sent there to see what they can do even though they may not be accustomed to said area or said situation. But again, now we look at this season, and we look at the fact that starting with a royal problem, we find out that it doesn't have to be two characters. And it doesn't have to be the main six. It could be any character. And a royal problem was a good example of that, because basically you had Starlight being chosen to go solve the problem, the dispute, the argument that Luna and Celestia were having with each other. Starlight, of all characters, who just recently, I guess you could say, graduated to the next level of friendship lessons. But, so now it seems that even though maybe in a future episode the Cutie Map's going to select Starlight and Trixie to go solve a problem, it seems that it doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3 or a group of characters. Sometimes it could just be one, and it may be someone you wouldn't expect. So is that the purpose of the Cutie Map as the series goes forward? Is it now going to pull out or bring forth other MLP characters that used to be seen maybe as background characters or secondary characters? Is it going to bring, is there going to be an episode where, let's say, Minuet is going to be brought in along with, let's say there might be an episode where the Cutie Map will say, okay, Minuet's been chosen, and we're going to team her with Applejack, and they're going to go and take care of a friendship problem. That's now a possibility. Another possibility is Spike. A lot of people are thinking now that Starlight's had a solo mission, maybe Spike's going to get chosen now, because it opens the door. And that is true. That's a good fact. But how will it be handled? How will it be done? Will a story be will there be a story where Spike goes on his own? Will he be teamed with someone outside of the main six? Will he be teamed up with Rarity? Because that would be a team up where fans would be like, this could be it. This could be where he either finally admits that he's grown out of his crush, or finally takes the time to finally we get something between them that acknowledges there's some kind of attraction or some kind of romantic feeling between the two or whatever. That's a possibility too. The door is open now for anything to happen. Could the Cutie Map call upon Moondancer to team up with Twilight in a future episode? The possibilities to me are endless. Now, I do know that some people are not too thrilled with this. I think Firebrand's not too thrilled. I think Firebrand has mentioned he's not too thrilled with it. Who else? Did Silver Quill say he was not too thrilled? I can't remember. Oh, Any Pony. He said he was not too thrilled, I believe. SBO, I think, may have been another. I'm not really sure. I can't really speak for Lightning Bliss or Eliora or KP or Ink Rose, but I know some in the Brony Pega sister community are not too keen on the whole Cutie Map deal and what it's doing. That they'd rather have things back to the way they were. And again, this is where the Cutie Map gets a mixed reaction with its sudden, with it being in this sudden position. Because now it's taken away from what made the show what it was. Taken away from the main focus, which is the main six, Spike, and maybe some of the allies they have join them on the side. The point I'm trying to make here is, ever since season 5, these past 2.5 seasons, it seems that there's been more focus on the Cutie Map selecting certain ponies, certain main members of the main six, if not, as we have seen recently, certain other characters to go out and solve friendship problems, than just calling out to the main six and saying, hey, you have to go here because there's a major friendship problem you all have to solve. And I think if you're a Twilight fan, it really upsets you, because now it's not putting Twilight back in that spotlight where fans have been used to seeing her. They've been used to seeing her with her friends. They've been used to seeing her team up with one or two of the members of the main six. But yet here, you don't see it as much anymore. But again, that's where this whole concept of the Cutie Map selecting maybe 1, 2, or 3 members of the main 6, or 1, 2, 3 outside characters to go and solve a friendship problem comes into play, and why some fans, if not a lot of fans, like that concept because it opens the door. It opens the door for different solutions. It's almost like, think about this. It just came to my mind. It's almost like the writers, when they came up with the idea to do the Cutie Map deal and have it select certain characters to team up with each other, it's almost like they took the idea out of the pages of the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic IDW comic, Friends Forever. If you don't know what Friends Forever is, it's a spin-off of the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic IDW comic, but here you have the main 6 or characters outside of the main 6 teaming up with each other, and basically you have team-ups and pair-ups that you wouldn't expect. That's what you have. For example, there's been issues from what I've read that have had Celestia pair up and team up with Pinkie Pie. We've had one with Luna and Spike. We've had some with Rarity and Babs. And the list can go on. Like I said, the list can go on. So, to me, when you think about it, maybe that's where they got the idea for the Cutie Map deal. Maybe they got it from there, and maybe now selecting characters outside the main 6, they got more of that idea from the Friends Forever comic when one thinks about it. But we can't really say. I mean, the only way we'd ever be proven right about that is if one of the princesses gets chosen by the Cutie Map to go with one of the main 6, or maybe someone outside the main 6 to go solve a friendship problem. But again, like I said, it opens that door. Like I said, whether you're okay with it, whether you're really intrigued by it, or whether you don't like it, you got to admit it opens that door. And in a sense, you got to look at it as maybe they took the inspiration from the Friends Forever comic. It makes a lot of sense. Maybe they took inspiration and incorporated it into the whole Cutie Map, selecting certain characters to go on friendship missions deal. Maybe they took it from there. One has to look at it from that perspective. But talking about this is making it even more confusing. I've done basically the best I can in talking about it. I mean, I don't think there's nothing more I can say than what I've said, or at least tried to say. But I will say this. Whatever other team-ups we get after this during the rest of Season 7, and possibly in Season 8, I'll say this. For those that may not like the whole Cutie Map concept, you got Hasbro, Megan McCarthy, anybody else in charge, you guys better have some good pair-ups, team-ups by the Cutie Map, to give the fans for the rest of this season and in Season 8. You guys better have some good pair-ups, because I can tell you this, if you don't, not a lot of fans are I'll put it this way. If Hasbro, DHX Media, and those in charge of creating the stories, like Megan McCarthy, if they don't come up with maybe some good pairings for the Cutie Map to issue out in the rest of Season 7 and into Season 8, then they're going to have more people souring on the whole Cutie Map idea than ever before. But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we'll get more intriguing pair-ups, and maybe we'll get all of the main 6, if not the main 7, as some people call it, called into doing a friendship mission by the Cutie Map. Who knows? But that's the best I could say about it, and just talking about it makes my brain a little confused.